Hey, John Mayfield, the real estate tech guy with Global Real Estate School, and I am going to help you answer that dreaded amortization table question. A lot of people are seeing that. I'm hearing it all the time. And I actually have a video in my school where I go through this. And then I have some students who say, hey, I had this question about an amortization schedule. And it's like, yeah, it's in chapter such and such. I stuck that in there so you would learn how to do that. But I get it. There's so much material in the course. And we are having great results. I heard from a lady this week, and I'm going to post her note. I may read it to you here later today, but such a kind email. She went to 2 other schools, could not pass, gave up, came back to school through my school because she found me on YouTube, and she passed the exam on the first attempt. And she said, John Mayfield, thank you so much for Global Real Estate School and all you've done. I could not have done it without you. And it was just this glowing email, and it made my day because I was actually having kind of one of those bummer days, if you ever have those. So anyway, you want to know about this amortization problem? Let's do it. I've got it right here, and I want to help you solve any questions you might see. Now, I heard kind of an interesting change or challenge to this question. So I have the amortization table pulled up here, and we're going to take a look at this. Now, you could see questions in a multitude of fashions. If they said to you that a person took, and let's just take our, I'm going to try to make this a little smaller. There we go. I think 1, let me see if, yep, that'll work good. If you saw an exam question that said a borrower took out a 6% interest rate and they were taking a 15-year term, what would their payment be? Well, this table is going to be provided to you, and really all you have to do is, as I just did, 6%, 15 years, you would just look over and then you would look down, and this is the number you would plug in your calculator. Now, notice up here, it says the monthly payment is per $1,000 of the loan. So let's just say you were getting a $100,000 loan. If it's $8.44 per 1,000, you would then need to do what? Well, I'm going to grab my calculator over here. If you have your calculator, pull it out. And so I'm going to take 100,000 because that's the loan, right? Per $1,000 of the loan. I'm going to divide that by 1,000. That gives me 100, right? So this right here, we would just divide by 1,000, and that gives me 100. And now I want to plug this number in right here, and that is a payment of $844. Now, that's a softball question. They may not give it to you that easily. So let's erase the board and let's crank it up a notch, as Emerald would say in the kitchen, right? And let's just say this time that, and I'm going to kind of move this over a little bit, so hopefully you can still see that okay. This time we're going to say that the loan amount, the borrower is, the sales price, the borrower is paying $276,000 for a home. So this is the sales price, and they are getting a 95% LTV. That's loan to value ratio. A 95% LTV. The interest rate will be 5.5%, and it will be for 30 years. Okay? What would the mortgage payment be? Well, in this example, we have to take care of figuring out what is the loan amount, right? Because this is the sales price. It's not the loan amount, and we're trying to calculate the mortgage payment, the loan payment, the mortgage payment. And so we have to figure out what the loan amount is before we can actually start plugging numbers in. So in this example, I'm just going to come over here a little bit further, and I want to take $276,000, and I want to multiply it times, and I like to use the T formula, and I like to put my mathematical symbols on the T, right? This is total. I always like to refer to it as the bigger number. And this is the rate, and this is part, or the smaller number. Now remember, we have to put the loan amount down here. It's the bigger number, and we are multiplying it times the rate that they give us in the problem, which is 95%. And you know that I like for you to move your decimal over 2 places, so that will now be 0.95. And anytime you have both of the bottom numbers, look for your math, and your math tells you to what? Tells you to multiply. So here, we're just going to take 276,000 and multiply it times 0.95. And that gives us times 0.95 gives us 262,000, because we were solving for the top part, $262,200. Now, because I'm going to be a global real estate school student, and I know my instructor, John Mayfield, that's me, always says, double check your math. And so 262,2 is what? That's the loan amount right there. This is our loan amount. Now, if we go back to the problem over here, remember it's $1,000. It's per 1,000 of the loan amount. So in this case, we would take 262,2 and we would divide it by 1,000, okay? And that gives me 262.20. Hey, I could do a commercial right now. Like YouTube comes on occasionally. My channel's monetized, so occasionally you see some commercials, and that helps me make money for doing these. But I could do a commercial right now and say, don't forget, I have the ultimate real estate exam prep course. There it is right there. I just put it on the, hopefully you see it there. It's the Ultimate Real Estate Exam course. I think I just did something really goofy, and now I'm going to have to go back over to the camera. There we go. As I do a commercial on air, right? The Ultimate Real Estate Exam Prep. It's a global real estate school. Go check it out. It has lots of training videos, short coaching videos. I used to call it My Real Estate Exam Coach. I kind of miss that name. But lots of quick 1 minute, 30-second coaching videos. You get the digital flashcards with that. I have a lot of people buy my digital flashcards, and you can do that. You can use them on your mobile phone. I would hold my mobile phone up, but that's what I'm looking at right now. And you can study and practice those anywhere you want. Those are included with the Ultimate Real Estate Exam Prep, and you get lots of exam questions, and you get really some great content. And I've had people that have passed that exam, I'm telling you what, from all over, because it works in all 50 states, and it's a national content. But I've had students literally that were up against the wall from other parts of the country and around who said, it's my last chance, and if I don't pass it, I'll have to go back to school. And they used My Real Estate Exam Prep, and they passed. So it's a great tool, and I'd love for you to check it out. There's my quick commercial, okay? So back to the exam. I hope you haven't left me, because 262.20, and so remember, this was 5.5%, 30 years. So we're going to go 5.5%, that's right there. 30 years is right there. If I come over here and I come down, it's 568. I can highlight that. 568. And that is what we are going to multiply $5.68 times this, because it was per 1,000, right? That's the loan amount. So $5.68 means the monthly payment is $1,489.30. That may be what you're going to see on the test. They're going to try to get you to figure out what the true loan amount is. There are going to be people that will take the bait, and the way the question is worded, they're going to start calculating what's the payment off of this number, and that's the sales price. And let me tell you what, answer A is going to be if you took the bait. And you're going to say, oh, I got it right. And you're going to answer A and go on to the next question. And then you're going to miss this question because you didn't take the time to figure out what's the loan amount. That's what we have to do. Okay? So let's take it a step further. I want to work a couple more with you here. I'm going to erase my board here. Oops, that's not what I want. It's eraser. I thought there was a way, but we'll just erase all of this very quickly because we may use that again. Here, I'm going to tell you one more. I'd like to go over one more with you. I'm going to try to figure this out because I had someone tell me the way they saw this. And so they can always change these up. You just got to learn how do I use this table? And so this week I heard from a student. Now they were taking, well, I won't say which exam they were taking, but they saw this question kind of opened up in a different format. And so the format basically was the buyers had a budget of where they wanted to keep their payment. What loan amount should they look at receiving? It's kind of something to that. So I'm going to try to work that. We'll try to work that backwards, reverse engineer it, and see what we can do here. So if they ask you, if they said the buyers had a, let me see here if I can find that, because I thought I wrote that down. Well, we'll just try to look at this. If the buyer's budget is $1,400 for their principal and interest. Now, you got to read these questions real carefully because they could very well throw in right here P-I-T-I, right? And we know that is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And so if they do something like that, just figure out what do they tell you the taxes are. They could say the taxes are $2,400 a year. Now again, read the questions carefully because they could say they're $2,400 semi-annually, which means you got to take that times 2, right? So just watch your conversion, but let's just say $2,400 a year and the insurance is $1,200 a year. I'm trying to make this easy. If they did something like that, well, we know the taxes would be $200 a month and the insurance would be $100 a month. So we need to get that $300 out of our calculation if we were trying to come back to use the table here, okay? But for this example, I just want to give you, read the questions carefully and don't forget to take things out of the payment if they throw principal, interest, taxes, and insurance in there. I don't think they'll get that challenging, but I just like my students to be extra prepared, so never hurts, right? So if the buyer's budget is $1,400 a month, and the question says that they want to get a 20-year loan, and they are looking at a $150,000 property. I think they want to get a 15-year note. Okay, I think this number is kind of close, and 15-year. I can't remember this sales price. What would you advise them to do in this example? And so, and it may have had something like 15, 20 years, 25 years. And so it was like, what would you advise them to do? Well, again, we have to take this 150,000 and divide it by 1,000, right? And we get 150. Now, again, please keep in mind, I'm just trying to give you a heads up that there was a question that gave you a buyer's budget, gave you the number of that budget that they did not want to go over, and they gave you some other information, and you had to choose, should they do a 15, 20, or 25 year, or it could have been because they gave you the interest rate. So in this case, let's just see 150, and again, I may be off on that sales price, times 8.18 would be 12. This is, if we did this one, it would be 1227. If we did 150 times 6.88, it would be 1,032. And of course we know, so that one, we know it's going to be less. So if we did 150 times 6.15, that would be 922.50. And so the question said something, and I'm probably pretty close here, that what would you recommend they do to stay within their budget? And so again, you might have information about taxes and insurance that you need to figure into that. So you may not pick the 15-year note, because if it does have taxes and insurance, that would probably throw you over the budget, wouldn't it? So there was a question, and I wish I could give you more details, but I just know the person said they were basically wanting me, they told me what the buyer's budget was, and they had the amortization chart, and they were saying, what would you recommend they take? You know, they were wanting you to choose what you thought the best loan would be to keep their payment under their budget and to pay it off. And I thought they said to pay it off in 15 years or less. And so it sounds to me like it was a 15-year note at 5.5, but who knows what they would have in the question. What I want you to see and understand here is that this chart's not that challenging to work and do. And they could ask you all kinds of questions from this chart. And what you have to remember are some of the key things we did today. And that is, number one, you've got to figure out what the loan amount is. So we have to figure out what the loan amount is, because that's where we are now plugging that in. And whatever the loan amount is, if it's $100,000, you divide it by 1,000, right? And that will give you 100. If it's 150,000, like we just worked, you divide it by 1,000, and that will give you 150. If the loan amount is $923,245, you divide it by 1,000, and you'll get, I'll just tell you that real quickly. Well, since we're at 923,245 divided by 1,000 gives you 923.25. From that point, in the problem, they will perhaps give you an interest rate and perhaps give you a loan term. And all you have to do is follow over to the number, and now this number we would just plug in and so times 7.39, make that a little better, that makes the house payment $6,822.78. So I want you to learn how to do the formula. I want you to look for the loan amount. I want you to keep a heads up that they could throw in the problem that you're buying the home for $300,000 sales price, and you're getting an 80% LTV, or you're getting a 95% LTV, loan to value ratio. And remember, John says it's easier, it's me, to move your decimal over and just convert it to 0.95, okay? Or 0.80. And then do your little T problem. In this case, there's a T problem. Put your mathematics on there. That's the part. Total. And this is percent. We know percent. If it's 0.95, we'll plug that in. Do we know the total? Yes, it's the bigger number. We're trying to solve for the down payment, which is the smaller number. Or pardon me, we're trying to solve for the loan amount, which is always going to hopefully be smaller than the sales price. That's the bigger number. And so if we take the sales price, in this case, we have the 300,000. We have the sales price, don't we? And we have the rate, which was 95%. We moved our decimal over 2 places. And so our math tells us whenever you have one at the bottom and one at the top, you do the math that's on your T. And in this case, it's to multiply. So 300,000 times 0.95 equals $285,000. That's the loan amount. So we were solving for the top part. And so now we just divide that by 1,000. So just keep a lookout on your chart, your amortization. They could have a different number here. We don't know. They love to change things up. Just like I was saying, they threw a curveball in here to say, what do you think the payment should be to keep their payment under their budget to pay it off in 15 years? Very interesting way that they had done that, I think, anyway. So I think you will do just fine on this exam. And I hope my audio is still moving. It looks like it is. Sometimes the other day I did a live stream and the sound went off. Actually, I hit the end button. There's a finish button down here on my Stream Deck, and I think I pressed the wrong button. But that amortization schedule has been seen. Trust me, you need to make sure you know how to do it. You could see 1 or 2 questions from it, and you're going to get those right now, okay? Hey, thank you for watching the live stream. Before you leave, please just watch for a little bit longer. First of all, YouTube rewards me if you watch my videos all the way to the end. So if you happen to be watching and you're watching a video you don't like, rather than leave, go get coffee or whatever and just let it run, okay? That always helps. So, but hopefully these help you. Subscribe to the channel. Tell other students or friends, agents in your office to subscribe. Occasionally I do on my podcast, which comes over here to YouTube, interviews with successful real estate agents. I'm getting ready to post one of those shortly. And so you can not only pass your test, but you can hang around with me after you pass the test to learn how to make more money as a real estate professional. But thank you so much for watching. Go to Global Real Estate School. We've got some great aids to help you pass the real estate exam. They work in all 50 states. It's called the Ultimate Real Estate Exam Prep Short Videos. It includes the digital flashcards. It has practice tests. It's worth every penny of it. And I'm telling you what, it'll help you pass the real estate exam. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you go out and have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.